Akbar, what's up, brother? It's so good. It's crazy how fast time flies, right? We were just chatting for a few minutes before we hopped on, and we were because of Skype and some issues. I texted you, and we hadn't texted in a while, so we went back to like our last text, and and you were saying, which is really funny, that the last like text we had was about Bitcoin in like 2017 or 2016, that you should buy some. And you're saying, I wish I did that in hindsight, but it's just great to catch up, man. It's been way too long, and I'm excited to jam. And there's so much stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, me too, man. I don't know what happened. I don't remember. I don't. I got like I saw an email from your team. I don't know. I don't know how this happened, but I'm so happy it did. And dude, it was just so nice because you're basically when I first got started here in like this ClickFunnels world, like 4-ish years ago. You're like literally one of the first ever people that I spoke to. You were one of the first ever people that reached out to me. I think you had I think I put some post out in the ClickFunnels group or something. You had these like really cool Trump coins,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even president at the time. Wow, that's how far back we're going. And you're just like, hey man, this is, just wanted to say hi. This is what I did. I was like, we started jamming a little bit, and man, I can't believe this. All these years later, so happy to see like, oh cool, I'm gonna talk to Max. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's what's even cooler to me is that both of us are not just still doing what we were doing then, but we've both
No,
achieved a lot of really amazing goals and excelled. And especially you, I mean, you've become a megastar in the not just the ClickFunnels world, but in the fun. I would say even a bigger, higher level of just somebody that's the go-to guy for funnels, for offer creation, um, and and that's rare. Like I think if you look back over the years and you look at all the people that have won two comic book awards and all the people that have kind of popped up with a course here or there, I don't know the stats. I'm not going to even throw out a stat, but I'd imagine that it's a majority probably aren't still doing this, right? They kind of hit it.
yeah,
Nothing came of it, and they're kind of out of the game, or they're kind of still in the same place. They're kind of spinning their wheels. Um,
yeah.
and so, like, I kind of want to start there. It just as I'm talking about this, it makes me think of it. Like, what do you think it is about? And you're still a lot more plugged in, I think, to the ClickFunnels world than I am. At least it seems like just from the conversations and people that are still in the group, like asking you questions all the time and tagging you and everything. Like, what do you think it is about the kind of the last few years in our industry that has led to more fleeting like success, right? I feel like there's a lot more of that where it's like one hit wonder, people are in real big, blow up, and then they're just gone like 6 months later.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I mean, we were talking a little bit about that in the green room, where it's like, I was so happy with the success you're having and the success that you're gonna have, in the very near future. And it's unbelievable. You told me, I mean, you're doing a lot of things, but some of the things you're doing is the exact same thing you did when we first met, 4-ish years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that focus really obviously pays off, and that sticking to it. I mean, even in my business, there was quite a few. I don't know if you want to call it pivots. Like I remember when I first got started, it was done with you. I had one offer. I would do 8 one-on-one Zoom sessions with you. You just go over all your stuff, and I'd help you optimize your funnel, your messaging, your emails, your offer, your social proof, your all your ethical principles and persuasion, just like live every week, 1 hour Zoom. That burnt me out really quick. Then I went for done for you, where we started building funnels for people, and then that burnt me out really quick. And then I started doing so. Then I was done with you. So then we changed. Didn't like that. So then we went for done for you. Did that for a while. Didn't like that. Left that. Then we had a mastermind, which was pretty cool. She had that for years. But then eventually didn't want to do that. And then I had my first ever course, which was cool, went really well. But then my vision changed. So, like, what I do now is similar to all that. And I feel like it's all stepping stones to something else. Like right now, I actually combined my value ladder, right? I don't actually have a value ladder. I think I'm one of the very few people out there in our space who actually don't have a value ladder.
Yeah, it's very
Who
rare.
don't? Yeah, it's very rare. And there's a reason for that. I mean, I'm kind of digressing here, but you see, I used to have like a high end mastermind, and it went well, and I had it for years, success stories, and it's fantastic and everything. What I decided to do instead is I want to focus all my effort, all my energy into just one amazing product, and I wanted to make it the best coaching program out there. So we developed what we call the coach's secret, and it's basically a program. It's your traditional blueprint where, look, I mean, thank God we've been able to generate, seven figures as a coach. So I basically just took I took almost offer structures, sales scripts, like everything that makes that business, and I kind of just put it in a box, and that's like the blueprint aspect of it. Then, like, because of our messaging, make more, give more, we have a pretty dope, client base who are all like really eclectic, global, around the world. And what's really cool to me is the split male and female, because like a lot of these groups for some reason are like 98% male,
Yeah.
or some, like a couple of them are 99% women. But this is like a split 50-50, which is really cool, I think, because of perspectives, and from people from all around the world. And then, of course, we have the daily live support, hands-on support for me and my dream team. But the point of that is, I really decided to just focus on that. And actually, when I eliminated my value ladder and I just focused on that, I ended up making more than I ever made, uh, and actually helped impact more people than ever, which is a really big deal to me. I mean, like, we're literally giving a six or seven figure trophy out, literally lately every single week, and it just goes back to our initial conversation before, when we were in the green room. It was just about that focus. And another thing about why I eliminated the value ladder is not just because that, but you and I were talking, like, you have this really cool, the really cool kid's name, Quinn Lynn, and you're like talking about like that's what's most important in life. And I couldn't agree with you anymore, right? For me, the top three in order is God, family, business. And because I've eliminated my value ladder and I was able to really focus on that, like, I'm very happy and honored to report, actually, that we get to spend a very nice amount of time with family. And not only that, but other passion projects outside this world, which you see, Max, what I think is a pandemic, cancel culture. I think it's complete garbage. I think I was involved in that world. I lost all my hair. I think it's crap. I think it's completely I mean, all due respect to anyone, by the way. I'm not, we're not hating on anyone. I'm just telling my personal opinion
Yeah.
that from a psychological point of view, I think it's a very dangerous mentality. I think from a factual point of view, I think it's very unsatisfying. I think it's you see, we're not gonna name names here because we don't, I don't want to do that. But a lot
You
of the
can do
big
whatever you
dogs
want.
out.
This is the beauty of my show.
Yeah,
You can talk for as long as you want, say whatever you want. I don't care. It's unedited,
okay.
unfiltered. Whatever you want to do.
Well, here's the ugly, dark side of this world, bro. And I'm curious to know what you feel about this.
Yeah.
A lot of the top gurus out there, um, they've curated an environment where it's literally like a dog chasing its tail. So it's impossible for you, and they've created this hustle culture. Oh, okay, cool. You want like this big carrot? Okay, awesome. To get that, you need this, and you got to get that right now, and that's the only choice. And then you do that, and you get that. It's like awesome. Well, in addition to that, you actually really need this.
Yeah.
And then once you hit, and then it's like, and it's never, by design, it's never ending. So they've created a marketplace where they don't want you to be satisfied, because if you're full, you're going to stop going to the buffet and you're going to stop buying crap. So there is a dark side to this world, in that sense, where I didn't like it at all, and I was caught in that trap myself, where it's like, okay, hit this goal, it's not enough, I need to go, oh, hit that, it's like, hit that goal, okay, oh, there's another thing, another carrot, okay, and it was like bouncing from carrot to carrot to carrot. I'm just like, dude, this is okay. I totally changed and I had, how did I change it is really like more of a spiritual redirect or and a mental redirect that, hey, dude, if nothing changes today, we're pretty blessed. We've got a roof over the head. We've got a stomach full of pretty good food. We have safety. We have family, so on. So we have the ability to impact the world. It's like, hey, if I don't achieve a single grain more than I've done right now, and this frankly goes for a lot of, not to say that like I've reached this particular height. It's just that wherever you are, you need to find contentment in that, in wherever, whatever part of the journey that you're on. And that to me is part of the giving culture. And I'm creating now a passionate project of mine is to create an alternative to the hustle culture, because I find it terrible for society as a whole, even outside of business. I find it a very unhealthy concept that'll create very unhealthy people. I mean, look, it's very holistic. It's like if the mom or dad is buzzed out, stressed out, that's going to have a ripple down effect on the kid, on the community, and as a community at large. So, yeah, man, I didn't even answer your question that you asked me. I
No,
just
no,
went on this whole
but
rant.
this is why I love getting to do this, because I don't care. Like I honestly, like, if you listen back to other episodes, this happens all the time. Like I'll ask a question and it'll lead down a thread, and it'll be way more interesting conversation than my initial question, right? So like
Yeah.
let's dive in there, because I think there's a lot of good stuff that I share similar opinions on.
Mm.
You get torn as a capitalist and somebody that, you're an entrepreneur, and part of being an entrepreneur is achieving financial goals. It's part of, part of the thing, right? And you get taught, and just you're trained over time, because everything you see, that this is the way it needs to be done, right? Like you need to have of upsells, you need to have more offers, more offers, more offers. You need to give the person, enough to kind of feel happy, enough to feel like they're getting some success, but not enough that they can just like, they're good and content, right? And as a consumer, I deal with this a lot. Like this is, I'm not saying this is a negative thing, because I love this company, but like the Motley Fool is a great example of this. Motley Fool, and this is just that financial educate, like kind of the publishing industry as a whole does this really well. Like they've been around for a really long time. My dad introduced me to them when I was like 18, because he used to get their newsletter, the
Oh,
physical newsletter. And in my opinion, I think they're like the best. Tom Gardner and them, like they're the best at like picking stocks and like educating on stocks and investing stuff. But like they have a new offer all the time. Like I bought, their newsletter, their regular kind of newsletter, which is like $200 a year, and you get access to the website, and you get, monthly stock picks. And then I bought the, their top picks. I forget the name of it, but then it's like, it's a more exclusive program, and you get like their earlier buys in certain stocks. And then it's like another thing. And now I get emails from them probably once a week with like, this is our biggest double down alert on the next 5G. Like it's always something. And I always,
yeah.
like, part of me is like, I get it. And like, I want to have more information. Like it's, if you're, cause their stuff works, right? It makes me money, and but it's also like, come on, I just gave you this, I just gave you money. And now you're like saying, well, actually, like basically what they're saying is, hey, we're giving you some decent stuff here, but like, if you want our really good stock picks, if you want our next, like, this is what you got to do. And so, yeah, it definitely, it's this balancing act of like, I, as the business owner, need to make a program and offer a model that is financially viable. But I think what people miss out on sometimes is the LTV, the lifetime value, and the net promoter score, and some of these metrics of really happy people, right? So like a customer that maybe I could have built, a few extra bucks out of by having more upsells. But like, if that just starts to frustrate people, and you lose that goodwill, you lose that kind of that fact that they're an ambassador, right? Like there's a tangible dollar value there to having people that just love you, love your brand, love your program, and tell everybody about it, even if you don't have another thing to sell to them, right? And there's other ways. There's, long story short, there's other ways to do things, right? You don't have to do things just because it's the way everybody else does things. Like just because everyone has a webinar doesn't mean that's the only way to sell something of high ticket, right? Is a webinar. There's other approaches.
Yeah.
There's other ways to think outside the box.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I mean, like, again, we're talking about like the dark side of the market. This conversation starts like, where all the kind of the internet marketers from years ago, and I don't know, some of them might be a victim of this dark side that we're talking about. But I mean, like, I don't really know. I know like the couple of key players that like, I kind of started off with like, the Clickfunnels were, a couple of people were like Julia, Dan Henry, Steve Larson, a couple of guys like this, and those guys are still around, but like a lot of the other names, like, no, you just kind of fell off the face of the earth. But another dark side is, man, I just lost my train of thought. What was the last thing you said?
I was just talking about webinars not needing to be the way you sell high ticket. There's other ways to sell things. I keep going. I have some additional thoughts if you want me to, while you catch that idea in your head.
No, go. You totally forgot.
So I'll keep talking about the that hustle culture, and maybe that'll jar something, because I add an additional thread there. It's this model, if you talked about kind of the dog chasing their tail, and this circle that never ends, right? And the other part, I think, is this: we're always looking ahead, right? And so most people never look behind them, meaning when they achieve certain goals that they've set, they're instantly setting new goals, and they're instantly looking at the person that has more than them. And to an extent, that is, I think, important. You need to have goals, right? If you just stop having goals, what's the point, right? If you're just no guiding principle in your life.
No.
But there's this podcast I listened to. One of the episodes had a few sociologists on, and they were talking about the income inequality, and because it's a big topic right now, income inequality and the wealth gap and everything. And they said what's really interesting about what's happening is that technically the middle class and the lower class, at least in the United States and pretty much worldwide, first world countries, aren't worse off today, right? If anything, everyone's way better off today than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago. The problem is that the richest people, the top 1%, have gotten exponentially richer, right? Way richer. And it's not so much that people are upset of where they are, it's they're upset that other people have a lot more. And they've done interesting studies on this, where one that I thought was fascinating was they looked at air rage incidents over like thousands of flights. And what they found was that on planes where people had to walk past first class versus planes where people entered in the middle and walked back, it was a massive increase in air rage incidents.
Wow.
And so it's this idea that, like, when you see people that have more than you, it causes a kind of physiological response. Like, it causes people to get angry and upset and jealous and envious. And they've done studies where people are willing, even crazier things, where, they ask people, would you be willing to forego some of your money if it meant that somebody that has more money loses more money than you? And I forget the stat, but it was a shocking amount of people were essentially willing to be worse off personally if it meant that the person that was better off than them was actually worse off. Like, just crazy stuff that it's people act in they're not in their best interest. And so I find that this mindset has a really dangerous impact on our world, the internet marketing world, where there's so much visibility on wealth, and that's a tool that people use to sell. And so when people achieve something that a year ago they would have been ecstatic and it would have been a dream, it doesn't have the impact that it does, because there's another guy who has a more expensive car or a bigger house or a second house, or now they have a boat. And it's always this thing where you're moving up. And most people never take the time to say, okay, yeah, there's people that are more than me, but look behind me and how many people would kill to have what I have. And that was something that really hit me this year, especially. It's like, I don't think a lot of people know this about me. Like when I started, even in like the ClickFunnels world, like in the course world and stuff, like I had nothing. Like I'm the epitome of fake it till you make it. Like I had the knowledge and I had the track record. I've been doing this, but in terms of money, like I had nothing. I had negative. I was maxed out credit cards. I had the story I tell people is like this is probably only 4 years ago, 5 years ago, probably like right around when we were talking. I remember I brought my car into the shop, and they said we got actually it was a lease. We got to actually put new tires on all four of the wheels, and it was a sports car, and they said it's going to be like $900 for all four, and you have to do it. It's
Yeah.
a lease. Like, I didn't have an option, right? It's not I own the car, and I remember
Yeah.
asking the guys like hypothetically, if like I don't have $900, like, do you have a payment plan? Like, what can we do? And he's like, no, you
Yeah.
just can't get the car back. And like I had to, put on
Yeah.
a credit card and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
but you don't really take a minute to think about like that's where I was then, like where I am today. I have everything I could have dreamed
And
of.
and you hit on a perfect nerve. First of all, the saddest part, it reminds me of this sick story. It's so funny. I was thinking about this story yesterday. So I read it years and years and years ago. I don't know, 15 years ago, long, long time ago. It's one of the sickest stories I've ever read in my life. And it talks about this very honest maid who worked for a rich lady. And, the honest maid, very poor, never had anything nice in her life. And she was cleaning her lady her I'm not gonna say master her. I think back then they did call them the master. You know, that's the time the story was written. So anyway, she was cleaning the lady she worked for. She was cleaning her room, and she bumped upon this beautiful pearl necklace. And she just kind of like nobody was around, and she just kind of put it to her chest just to look in the mirror. And she was just in awe, like wow. She's never really seen anything nice. She's never had anything nice. And she said, "You know what? That lady is she's gone for the weekend. Tonight, me and my husband are going out. When very rarely we go out. We're going out dinner and dancing. And you know what? I want to look pretty for him for like the first time ever. This is what she's thinking in her head. And anyway, she said, she won't miss it. She's out of town. I'm just gonna borrow it for the night. She's a good person. So I'm just gonna borrow it for the night. I'm gonna bring it right back tomorrow." She goes out that night. She wears, long story short, she wears the necklace. They go dinner and dancing. All of a sudden, halfway through the evening, she looks around her neck. She can't find it. They go nuts. Her and her husband go nuts. They spend all night looking all over the place. Can't find it. She's an honest woman. She doesn't show back up to work because she's too ashamed. 20 years later, that lady shows up to her employer's house, knocks on the door. The employer opens the door. She's aged well, she looks good, and she's shocked when she sees the maid. She says, "My good God, what happened to you? You look terrible. You've aged terrible. What the hell? What's going on? What happened to you? Where did you go?" And she tells the story. She said, "I lost that necklace and I worked my butt off for the past 20 overshift, overtime, two jobs just to get you to be able to afford that necklace for you. And I here it is. I finally, after all these years, I made it happen." And she's this beat up person from just hustling so hard to get this necklace that no one in her world can afford. And the employer says, "Oh my God, I have to tell you something. That necklace that you borrowed that night, that was worthless. It was fake." And the story just kind of
Oh,
ends right there. Actually, I
that's
literally just
terrible.
teared up and have goosebumps, like thinking about that because that's the bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's the BS that's going on right now. Is first of all, the about out there is it's mostly fabricated. Okay, in the sense that I remember saw a guy in a sports car, not you, but I saw a guy in a big sports car. He couldn't. I find out later he can't afford the monthly payments. Then I later found out that shit. This is actually these sports cars are actually not that big of a deal. They're actually 2,500 a month on lease, and everyone thinks that there's some sort of millionaires, but no. I mean, if they're like an agency, that's like one client for them. It's actually not that big of a deal. It just looks a hell of a lot cooler than it is. And even like and I never like I'm not yeah, I've done a little bit of this guru stuff, like but we're like as a company trying to go like completely away from like I don't want it to be about me at all. Like you see pictures of me all over the place with like a bunch of trophies and stuff. And like I've told my team like I don't want that at all anymore. Because and to be honest with you, and that's the sick part, that's what I was taught. Like I just didn't know any better. That's what I was taught. But I want the exact opposite. Where I'm like, dude, don't even like. Yeah, I can be in the background somewhere, maybe a little uh, blurb about me, but dude, talk about our students. Talk about all like the people that we've helped like hit all these great goals and help them make more to give more. Like, don't make it about me. And I was caught up in that world for a little bit. Like even my Bentley, right? Like, and you rarely will see a picture of it. I have it like in one webinar somewhere, but people are like, wow. But and I don't advertise this, and I'm not trying to hide it either. But it's like, well, dude, you want to know something? Like a brand new Honda actually, I think probably costs more than this Bentley. This Bentley is used, and I bought it for $28,000. Um, not that big of a deal. To be honest with you, a brand new Honda is going to cost more money than this. And by the way, it's a piece of junk. All right, the thing has cost me, I think, 12,000 in repairs, and it's still a big headache and a freaking nightmare. And I can't even get cell phone reception in the car. I can't even use a GPS. I can't even really drive that thing except for like the corner store and like places I know because the GPS doesn't work because there's no reception because it was man made and it's like it's like a tank in there. Um, but yeah, no, it's a lot of BS, bro. And then so what's funny is that people are. So what's interesting about that story is that was way before the hustle culture or really even the internet came out, but it reigns true today. And I think another problem with the hustle culture, bro, is it's just human emotion. People get jealous, but then people and I've been there too, where I'm like, son of a bitch, that guy's got that, or he's making that much.
Yep, me too.
But and then guess what? A lot of those numbers are bullshit too, because guess what? They've got, for example, 10 clients paying them. Let me just do. I'm terrible at math, by the way, but let's just say they've got like 10 clients paying them 3K each. Okay, or they just did an event and they just sold 10 clients, signed a contract 3K each. And guess what? They go tell everyone, I just made $300,000. That's bullshit. You just made $30,000 and you have a contract to collect 300,000, but you know as well as I that you're not good that great at fulfillment, and most of these people are going to fall out by month 2 or 3. So now everyone's looking at like, God damn it, how did he make that 300,000? I've never made that 300,000. Oh my, if he can do it, I can. Well, actually, he just lied to you. He didn't make 300,000. Number one, right? The so I was a victim of that world where I would like look at other people and you feel certain ways. And you're talking about where some of these people are. I'll tell you something, bro. From a religious point of view, I'm not going to preach here. I'm just telling you what I believe. But there's a lot of like bad things that come up with jealousy. There's this concept if anybody can look it up if they're interested. It's called the evil eye. And it's when a bunch of people are looking at you and they're like, they're jealous. And that causes bad things actually throughout the history of man. There's a science to it and it's real. That's why old school people they don't put themselves out there. They stay humble, they stay quiet, they drive a modest car, they don't really tell anybody what they make. They want that protection from that evil eye. I myself make regular prayers against the evil eye. Because it's a very real thing. And we were talking about, hey, where are a lot of these people? Well, a lot of them are the victim of the evil eye as well. So I think this whole, and again, I was a part of it. I think it's all nonsense. I think it's ungodly. I think it is very unhealthy. I think it is ridiculous. This whole guru world and you know this dog chasing its tail. And I'll tell you the other problem We're talking about how do people recommend people. Another darkness of the marketplace is this disgusting, really 90-10 rule where they spend 90% of the time marketing, right? And then once they get the client, it's 10% of the time in fulfillment. So in other words, it's like it's all market, 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 and then we put you in a sold bucket. And when you're in the sold bucket, it's like forget about you, I'm done with you. Back to the marketplace to go fishing. And like I'll give everyone kind of a pro tip right now. It's like if you go to like for example, like if you go to a Clickfunnels group and someone's like, "Hey, I want to coach," like we're very blessed and happy to say that. Like we're there'll be like hundreds of comments and we're like usually a lot of times like one of the top people that they recommend. And it's because I feel there's several factors to that, but one of the reasons I feel is that we spend a lot of the time, like, yeah, we bring you in, but then we spend a lot of the time. I chase you like you're like I'm a debt collector after I've sold you, and and you don't owe me anything, and I have nothing to sell you by the way because I don't have a ladder. But I chase you like a debt collector, and I keep marketing to you. But wait a minute, what am I marketing? I have nothing to sell you. I keep marketing you to use the program that you bought from me. And I think that's a really big secret that I'm very happy to tell everyone because I love everyone to do it. Because holistically, whatever you do, it's scientifically impossible for your clients not to get results if they use it. The problem is they don't use it. So I've made it kind of like my job and I've made it kind of my responsibility that, hey, the marketplace is effing your mind. There's 4,000 ads a day, and they're constantly telling you to go here, go here, go there. It's hardcore shiny object syndrome. So I've made it my job to make sure that you use what you got from me, and I think it goes back to, and what I would recommend to everyone, I think it just goes back to intention. Be like, well, Akbar, why are you doing that? You have nothing left to sell them. They already bought them. It's up to them. Well, no, dude. I have to understand that the marketplace is hypnotic and it's mind effing them on a daily basis and it's giving them the wrong advice. So I have to remind them that hey, everything you need is right here. You don't need anything else. Just use it. I've made it my responsibility. And I think what I would recommend to everyone is to have that like an intention. And this is the difference between the hustle culture and what I'm trying to create, and I'm calling the giving culture, is that let's have an intention. Like, why are we doing what we're doing? And if it is truly to help people, right? Like our mission is to help people make more to give more to their favorite families, communities, favorite charities, hence making the world a better place. And that's working and that's happening regularly. So if that's really my intention, then I have to do things differently. Like this very foreign concept in our world is wait a minute, when you sell to them, you keep more. Like I've paid people very well, by the way, not like overseas, like domestically, very well. Like I have a director of success who I pay very well, full time, full time person, and they are constantly communicating with each and every one of my clients every single week, making sure that they're just using what they got. And because of that, are and I'll tell you, it's an awesome business plan as well because your clients will get more results than ever. They'll be more satisfied than ever. They will recommend you more than ever, and you'll be more satisfied than ever, and you'll make more money than ever. So it's doing things the right way is actually a hell of a lot more profitable than the bullshit hustle culture and just you got look holistically. I'll tell you one thing next. You have to understand something, man. We are like you and me. We didn't grow up thinking like, "Hey, man, we're going to be internet entrepreneurs." Because like when we were growing up, the internet like just came out, and we were looking at like and like ESPN, like it was just like totally brand new. No one even
Yeah.
knew if it was going to last, right? Like the headline, there were a lot of headlines that said like, "Oh, this internet thing might be a fad, or it might not last," right? And so none of us grew up thinking we're going to do this. So historically speaking, you understand something. When the camera first came out, people would go like this. They'd put their fingers in a cross and they would hiss because they thought that the camera was taking a piece of your soul because it was unknown new technology. The internet is the exact same thing. Historically, we are the beta users. We are the first ever generation in the history of man to use the internet like this. So historically, yeah, this bullshit's going to happen. We have a lot of people who are like, "Ooh, what is this? A lottery ticket system? Oh, I guess it's okay to fake it till you make it online. I guess it's okay to, monkey see, monkey do. I guess it's okay. It's the online. I guess it's okay to say I trained six people to make six figures and actually made even five figures as an affiliate. Like, it's the unknown. I'm not even saying these are like all bad people. I'm just saying it's the unknown. No one's teaching them any better. There are a couple of vultures that are taking advantage of this new technology. But what I would invite people to realize is that one of the first business transactions ever was about 70,000 years ago off the coast of Fiji, where they traded volcanic glass. Then transactions were conducted in today's modern day flea market, which is really a marketplace, which is really they had tents on a piece of land. And back then it was a lot more attractive than a modern day flea market, or picture a farmer's market, I think is a more elegant way to put it. Then, ships and trains were invented and people started doing transactions, shipping goods and mail and train. Then retail stores were invented and people started doing transactions in these retail boxes. And then you had mail order business, and and now there's the internet. But what I want to invite people to is the psychology and the fundamentals of business have been the same from day one. It's just the platform has changed. So, for example's sake, when you talk about your dad used to get those newsletters, so people used to get like mail, like snail mail. They used to get sales letters in the mail. If you read those sales letters from like the 70s or 80s before the internet, and you take a look at a sales page today online, it's the exact same psychology. It's the exact same formulas. So business hasn't changed. So what's happened today is you have a lot of non-entrepreneurs who lack fundamental entrepreneurial skill sets, treating the internet like a lottery system and trying to, get rich online. And so it's created this toxic environment. And then, of course, you have some head honcho vultures who've identified that there's a lot of suckers out there. And they make all these, promises and create all these kind of dangerous cultures and curate all these dangerous cultures. So that's kind of a 10,000 foot view of some of the toxicity and some of the research that's going on.
So how do you? Cause there's so much good stuff there. Like, how do you? This is the dilemma that I run into. Just thinking through, like doing thought experiments on this. Like, how do you remedy and kind of balance the need to democratize kind of opportunities, which seems to be something there's a big discussion, heated debate between like equality of opportunity versus equality of outcome, right? That's a big discussion that happens right now. I think everybody can agree. I think the equality of outcome is one that's debated. I think everyone can agree, like equality of opportunity is a good thing, that everybody should be able to play the game, like have the opportunity to play the game, and most people are going to lose, some people win, right? As long as everyone could play the game, that's, I think a lot of people feel better about that. So how do you balance that then of like what's happening with all the, online courses and e-commerce stores, and now it's happening with, Robinhood with stock trading and everyone buying GameStop and AMC stock and stuff, where you've taken systems and markets that were usually for, thousands of years, basically locked out most people to even play the game. And the people that could play the game built tremendous wealth. And now you've made it accessible to everybody, but it's causing kind of chaos, right? It's because everybody at the same time was flooding into these markets, and most have zero understanding of how these markets should function and the fundamentals of doing these things, whether it's starting a business or buying stocks or whatever it might be. You have kind of this period of chaos, this period we're experiencing right now, kind of all at once. And I struggle with like what the best solution is, because if you want to stay true to being, free market capitalist, equality of opportunity, that whole thing, then it should be in like kind of libertarian, which is like kind of, I'm more in that kind of down the middle freedom. Like everyone should be able to play, and most are going to lose and lose terribly and lose everything possibly, because, with stocks, like they're taking out lines of credit, they're maxing out credit cards to buy Bitcoin or buy GameStop. And people learn life lessons that way. But we're in this weird period now where it just seems like there's just all this bullshit going on, right? And I don't know I don't think that's really a question, but it's more so like, I just don't know what the solution is, right? Like there's really not a great solution to this problem other than just to kind of let it play out for a few years, and then just most people will kind of get hit real hard, and they're going to be like, okay, this is not for everybody, maybe, or it's I gotta learn some stuff before I play this game.
I think that there are some solutions that can happen now, and it depends what kind of business you're in, right? So I guess I'll kind of talk about a couple of different ideas. So first of all, like our we really don't take, like, we're very clear, very clear. Like, if you've never had any success offline or online, if you've never had any real success offline or online, like, we're just not for you. Like, just move on, because there is a, and I'm not calling anybody a loser, but at the end of the day, winners win, right? And a lot of people are just not, like, it's actually a pretty sexy business model, because winners are going to win. Like, I tell people, look, winners win with or without me. It's just with me, they're going to do it a little faster because we've just been doing it for a little longer than them. It's as simple as that. It's just it's a journey. I've been doing it a little longer, figured out a couple of things, and then I can help. Can leverage that a little bit of a shortcut. There's truth to that. I mean, I'm a believer in that. I hire coaches all the time. um I'm practicing what I preach, but, like, we're very clear. Like, if and we're not judging anyone, it's just a statistical thing. Like, if you've never really had any real success offline or online, like, chances are you're just not there. And that was me for like 10 years. Like, I never had any real, like real success. I was like basically a bum for like a while, and I lost a ton of money on programs, but they were more than happy to sell to me. So, like, my sales team is very well instructed to say, hey, like, it's pretty easy to identify someone who's, we don't call them a loser, but someone who's just not ready for success yet. It's pretty easy to identify that. Don't sell to them. Simple. Don't sell to them. Another concept, and people are like, well, no, 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 who are we to judge? Dude, that's bullshit. You're trying to convince yourself of, just so you can make more sales. But I'll give you another concept, and it's a concept called dirty money. You'll notice people who have, like, a couple $100, and it seems to last them forever. People who've got thousands and thousands of dollars, and they always seem to be out of money. You ever see that? Well, there's a reason for that. It's because one guy has blessings in his money, the other guy doesn't. And the person who has blessings in their money, they're taking it a lot more seriously. They're not just trying to sell to anybody. They have some intentions in place. They're trying to sell to people who are the right fit. They're putting in considerations. It's not all just about the money. They want an honest transaction. And we always strive towards that path of trying to have clean money, because we don't want to feed our kids with dirty money. Like, yeah, I know that guy's not going to make it, but I just sold to him anyway because he wanted to, and who am I to say anything? Well, you're an asshole. uh, all due respect. But, on a lower level, if you're dealing with more newbies or whatever, I think it's just like, I like being very transparent. Yeah, and by the way, guys, like, I've made a lot of these mistakes when I first got started. You don't think about these things, you don't know about these things. You sell to kind of anybody. When you're first getting started, you try to, especially for us who like bootstrap, like me and Max and stuff, who like, try to bootstrap this whole thing. We started with nothing. Yeah, I don't want to speak for Max, but, like, I know I've made mistakes, like, in the beginning, and in retrospect, didn't really, even know that. And like, oh
Yeah.
shit, that was not good. That was bad. And I think a lot of people go through that, you know. But now it's like we always have tried to be transparent, but now just like hyper transparent, where it's like, if I was selling a low level course, I would be very open with the statistics, and I'd be like, hey, 98% of people who buy these things fail, and it's because of it's like my favorite analogy is this: you want to lose weight, simple, eat healthier, move a little bit more. Scientifically impossible not to lose weight if you do these things. However, why is the weight loss industry a multi-billion-dollar industry? Because everyone wants the shortcut. And why is it that 98% of people don't lose any weight after they buy these products? They're just not ready for it. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the discipline. Like me, I tried to lose weight for 10 years, never lost a pound, bought all sorts of pills, potions. I didn't have what it takes to achieve that goal. Now I've lost 60 pounds because I developed these skills. But I think this marketing where it's like, oh, anybody can do it, your grandma can do it, it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the
bullshit.
vast majority of people do not have the discipline to achieve anything, to lose weight, or to grow their business, or to be in a better relationship, or whatever. They don't have they don't have the fundamental skill sets to do that. So you need to know that. And I think it's important to address that. And so I think it's just, I think, look, just, I think one of the solutions is just like, let's just start being a lot more transparent and honest in our marketing. And let's stop living in fear that, oh, well, if we tell people the truth, they're not going to buy. I mean, that's just not true. Try it for a little while. When I shut down my value add, I'm like, shit, am I going to take a big hit in income? Actually started making more money. So I think it's very profitable. I think it's very, very, very profitable to do the right thing. And
Yeah.
we're always still striving to that and trying to figure out what that right thing is. But I think we can get on that path. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's totally true, and it's why like anytime I see these periods where people are making lots of money really quickly, I hate it.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, so again, going back to this, what's happening in the stock market the last 2 months or so, it's part of me loves it because I think like hedge funds got played at their own game. And I love
Yeah.
that aspect of it, right? Because they've been just screwing people and manipulating markets and getting bailouts and basically playing
Yeah.
one side of capitalism for forever. So I like it from that. But when I see these threads and Reddit and stuff and people talk like making it seem like investing in the stock market is like these courses where it's just like, hey, you do one thing, you get rich. Like you buy GameStop stock and you're a millionaire, right? It's like,
Right.
no, like these are black swan events. These are anomalies, and they happen, right? There are these once in a decade events where fortunes can be made by people that time it right. Even with coronavirus, like when that first hit, if you bought any stock like end of March, you double triple your money. I don't care what you bought, right? You double tripled your money.
Yeah.
You bought hotel stocks, casino stocks, everything was like trading 80% discount, right?
Yeah.
That's not normal, right? Like you can't
Well,
you can't
and that's another thing too, though, right? It's because we got to be careful on that, because I had that same mentality where I'm like, wait a minute, like travel stocks and entertainment stocks were plummeted, and I'm like, dude, this Corona thing is going to be over in like a year or two, or whatever. It's like a lot of these companies should rebound. It's just basic logic, and I'm not a stock guy or anything like that. So I actually, you see, in that, I don't want to call it greed, but in that the moment of opportunity, I bought companies like Carnival, the cruise line, that went down like I think 60, 70% or whatever. But then when I took a second to breathe, I actually thought about it, and I was like, because it was that culture that I just like, you like, everyone wants crypto, everyone wants to like jump on that bandwagon, right? So I did get caught up in that for a second, and I bought a few stocks, like, and Carnival was one of them. But then when I took a second to breathe, I'm like, bro, a lot of their business plan is actually, um, it's pretty unethical. Like, for example, say they'll sell you $100 cruise ticket just to because they know that you're gonna keep drinking, and they're just gonna sell you a ton of liquor and have you gamble a ton on their ship, and they know. So it's like that. Sure, coming for free because we know you're gonna spend a shit ton of money on alcohol and gambling with us. And after I realized, I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, if you quadruple my money, I don't care. I'm not like, I don't support that business model. It's an unethical model. I don't like it at all. I don't care. And I immediately sold. And I did have some profits, and we gave it away, actually. And I think that's one of the solutions is we have to view profit differently, because, bro, like, what's fascinating about money is that, like, you ever ask someone, hey dude, oh shit, I left my wallet, do you have $20, I need to buy something. You ever meet anyone who's like, ah, dude, you know what, 3 years ago I bought some shoes uh for $20, and I just never got any more money after that, right? I mean,
yeah.
no, dude, money it keeps it in fact does keep replenishing. Like, you keep making, if you're an entrepreneur, you keep making money. So it's like, I think we need to view at profitability a little differently. We need to stop looking at it so numerically and look at it more holistically. That, is just profitable for the soul, because in fact that is, our mind, body, and soul is really true wealth. You know what I mean? And our own inner happiness. It's like, yeah, dude. Like, I've turned away, like, in my career, I've turned away. Like, one guy offered me tens of thousands of dollars to help him with his bachelor party business. I have a lot of examples like this, and he wanted me to promote his bachelor party. I said, no, dude, I don't think, no. It's like, you're not making the world a better place by hosting bachelor parties on boats in the middle of the ocean. Like, no. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think we have to look at profitability as a holistic solution, where what's good for them, what's good for us, what's good for mankind as a whole. And I think if a lot more people start thinking like this, um, hopefully we can get, and holistically, you do have to get some kind of like gurus who think like this. You know, to be honest with you, bro, it's like that's kind of, and I'm not trying to be like some big guy, but that's one of the reasons we still like our face is still out there. It's because we are trying to spread a different message, a make more, give more message. Otherwise, bro, like, in e-commerce, like we have a successful e-commerce company. Like I don't really have to do anything. I can literally never do another interview again. I don't have to do any more Facebook lives. Like I can run businesses behind the scenes. But by choice, it's like I am trying to spread this message
And I'm still here,
of
by the way. My
make
camera
more,
just turned
give
off.
more.
So, by the way, we're still good. Just
Okay.
letting you know.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just saying that, like, I am trying to spread a good message, and I would encourage anyone out there, if you do have a good message, if you do have a better alternative, that like, do that. You think I enjoy like being a dancing monkey on Facebook Lives all the time and like doing all this. It's not really who I am believe it or not, I'm more of a recluse. I'm more of a kind of guy who wants to be on a farm and read books and write and like create and stuff. Like I'm not like this, like, I don't want to be like this guy on a billboard or something, but I do try to push that message out there because I think it's really important and I believe a lot in it. And um, I think I think it'll just create a much healthier and happier world.
Yeah, I agree. It's the like the dilemma of when you're doing info and like when you're selling education or consulting or coaching, anything like that, where you have to promote yourself and you have to build awareness and you have to advertise to an extent, unless you get so big that doesn't really matter. But it's also this
Yeah.
dilemma of like, I know you're someone just like me. Like, I don't like doing it, right? So it's this weird place you
Yeah.
get stuck in where it's I love the impact of it. I love the fulfillment of it, right? To be able to help people. I hate having
Yeah.
to convince those people to buy the product, right? Like in the way that you have to do it or play that game, right? And and yeah, it's challenging because you can do it differently, and we do it differently as well. It it's much more difficult, um, at least in traditional kind of direct response, to do that at scale in a very different way than other people are doing it. And so it's this thing where it's like, hey, there's an easy way. I could easily just copy everyone, do exactly what I know people want to see, but hate myself and and not like it. Or I can just do it this way, which is going to be a lot more work. It's a lot harder, but at the end of the day, it's going to get not just the make me happy, but also get the right person, right? I think that's the other thing. It's like you might not get as many people, but you're going to get a different caliber of person who is buying from you because of you, because of the program. They believe in what you're selling, not because they believe in what you're promising, right? You're not promising a mansion or $1 million, which is what you get
Yeah.
lower quality people that buy because of that.
Bro, your life, in my experience, when your significant other, your clients and your team are from hell, your life is hell. And it's the opposite, bro. Like right now I've got like the best clients I've ever had. Life is good, you know. And like, and I want to be clear too. Like I'm not, like there's a reason I have no hair. And like when I first started, if you take a look at it, when I first met Max, I had hair up to my shoulders, thick, beautiful black hair, and I had no white hairs. So we learned a lot of this the hard way because, like I said, we didn't grow up thinking we're going to become an online entrepreneur. Like, so a lot of the people, like we were taught things the wrong way. Like we were taught a little bit of that guru stuff. We were not taught how to like we were taught to sell to anybody. We were not taught to be selective. So it's like a lot of the times when I'm in the thick of it, I'm like, you know, wait, that doesn't make sense. Wait, that was not good that I did that. Oh, that person got upset. Well, that actually makes sense why they got upset. They never actually should have been sold to in the first place. It's like we had to figure a lot of this out the hard way. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm coming to you as a Boy Scout and saying, hey man, you got to be honest. And that's like we learned a lot of this the hard way. You know what I mean? So that's why I think I'm very happy and passionate to talk about all this. So that I hope that there's some people listening that are a little like earlier on in their journey that don't make the same mistakes that that we had to, or that we did because we were in the wrong, we were just taught incorrectly. We were
Yeah.
taught by greedy, very hardcore greedy capitalistic, people. Um, and so yeah, I mean, I really hope it helps. I really, really, really hope it helps.
Yeah, 100%. And so if people, where whenever I get to jam with like friends and stuff, catch, I just lose track of time as well. So I want to be respectful of your
Yeah.
time. So if somebody's watching, obviously, like I feel the same way that you do. Like, hey, if you're just getting started, if you haven't really seen success, if you don't really know what you're selling, if you don't have a passion for what you're selling, those types of things, like you're not a fit for what we do. But for somebody that's kind of listening, it's like, hey, like we're doing really well. We're passionate about our business. We have a great product, great service, and like I really want to level up. Like, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you? And like, what are specifically are you doing? Like, how are you specifically working with people to help them kind of get to that next level?
Yeah, man, we have one product. It's a coaching product where it's interesting, man. I'll have some fun with this. I'm gonna get a videographer here in Sydney. We're gonna make a video. We're gonna go to, okay, like a Home Depot, and I'm gonna scream, "Hey, I need one person to dream my build. I need one person to help me to build my dream house. I need one person." And then like somebody will come up to me like, "Dude, what are you talking about? You need an architect, a pavement, a framer, a sheetrocker, a painter, an electrician, a plumber, blah 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 blah." Like you can There's no one person who can build your house. That's insanity. And then and I have to like storyboard it out, but then I'll be like, then it'll be like another person be like, "Oh, you mean like, so I guess that's the same in business, right? Where it's like, huh, everyone's looking for like this one magic coach that's going to improve your whole business. I guess that's kind of crazy too, huh? Because you kind of need to build a successful business, like copywriter, funnel builder, traffic buyer, mindset person, tech, and all these different departments. And, anyway, like somehow I'm going to storyboard like, well, that's the solution that we offer is a holistic solution that we've built a dream team. So like, I feel like a guy doesn't build a great business. He builds a team that builds a great business. And we've done that over the years through blood, sweat, and tears. Literally, we've built a pretty good team. So it's pretty expensive to do that, but pretty inexpensive to leverage our team. So if someone like, yeah, like you said, bro, like we are looking for someone, like you don't have to be a millionaire or anything, like, but you have to have something going on. Even if you're, making a little bit, that's fine. But you have something going on, or you've had some sort of success in your life. If you're an absolute newbie, I'm just not the best person for you. But yeah, what we do is we let you in our world, and you get live hands-on support from me daily, like workshop style from me and my dream team, where we actually like, it's not um, it's like we solve problems every call. It's not like theoretical, or like, just give a lecture or something. It's like we actually look at your problems and help solve those exact problems on the spot. So it's pretty hands on, and that's basically what we got. And of course, my website, it's pretty interesting. I kind of like it because it's a story. You know, my mom never thought I'd be an internet marketer for sure. So it's funny. I joke. I said, listen, and I hope this inspires some people out there. But I said, listen, I have a name. I'm a technologically illiterate brown guy with a name that no one can spell or pronounce. Uh, that has somehow reached the top 1% of this marketplace. And so my website is akbarsheikh.com, and no one is even going to know how to spell that. But hey, it works. So, I keep that there, and I just say that little nugget and hope that it inspires someone, because I know people come up to me all the time. Hey, I got a little bit of an accent. Is this going to work? Hey, I'm Chinese. Is this going to work? Hey, I'm a girl. Is this going to work? Like, so I want you to know that, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big your nose is. And this is real things that people come up to me. It doesn't matter how big your nose is or what kind of accent you have or where, as long as you're good at what you do. As I put it to you this way, if I have a heart attack right now, and I said, I need a doctor right now. Do you think I'm going to say, make sure they're very good looking and make sure it's not a girl? No, I want the absolute. I don't care if you've got two noses. I just want the best doctor out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you have one eye. Like, just get like whoever's the best doctor out there, give me them. And I think that people want that. So whoever you are, as long as you're good, don't be your own worst enemy, and look at yourself, look down at yourself, because if you look down at yourself, other people can look down at yourself, and if you're good and you're talented, they'll love you no matter what.
I love that, man. That's amazing advice, amazing wisdom, and I couldn't think of a better line to kind of wrap our chat up on for everyone. A little inspiration for people's day. It's been a blast getting to catch up with you, dude. I know we can't let this many years go by before our next chat. I
I
know we
know,
won't.
man. It's too
Um,
long.
and I'm just super excited to keep chatting. I'm excited about everything that you're doing and the type of business that you're growing, and can't wait to have you back on to keep the session going.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna take my kids to school right now. I'm gonna hit you up later. We're gonna get you on. I gotta get you on my show. Hopefully, I can twist your arm, get you over there. And
Done.
yeah,
Just let
man.
me know when
Let's
and
keep
where.
in touch. It's been too long. Thanks,
Awesome,
man.
man. Have a great day, and we'll see everyone next week. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Peace.